So hi again everyone. It is exactly 7 days since I started this test, and I've added another container to this one, the one on the end, which I'm going to do with Bokashi Bran and then water in the container the night before I empty it. And the first thing I need to do is test the tap on this and see if there's any liquid collected in the bottom. And also I noticed when I uncovered this, I've had it covered in this white drape for the week, I noticed there were little bugs flying around the opening, which suggests to me that odour is getting out a bit through that opening. They probably can't get in, but they can smell it. This is the waste I had left over. I've weighed everything, so it's exactly 1 kilogram, which was actually really hard to do. I had to have one container on the weighing scales, keep emptying it into the container, checking everything. It was a big job. And let's bring this closer to the edge before I open it. Let's see if we can get anything out of it. Maybe I didn't have it closed. Maybe that's why the bugs... There's a little bug there. Nothing coming. Oh, there we go. Oh, hang on, I can't see that. I'm pretty sure that is from the meat I put in there. So that's the juice that comes out. Close that off now. And that is really pongy. Oh poo, that is just putrid. So I'm pretty sure that's the meat. So I need to cover that. So let's have a look in here. I've not opened this for the whole week. And this was the spray. I'm not that keen on this one because of that lid. Oh, and I can see on the lid up here there's tiny little fruit fly casings. Yeah. So they have, oh, that's right, see? That hasn't been sealed properly there. I thought that was a continuous loop, it's not. So they've got in through there. So this is not going to be a great container for me, for my purposes. And you can see the little tiny bugs there? And I can see one inside there. Let's take this off. Clearly that's why they need this extra layer. Not a condensation. Oh God, it stinks so bad. Can you see that in there? I'll just have a dig around, which I really probably shouldn't do because that's going to change the experiment. Yeah, well look, it's breaking down, isn't it? But remember, this waste was really already broken down a lot, except for that meat, which had been frozen in the freezer, but it had already rotted. So it's defrosted, and all that juice that came out was mainly from that meat. Now that is pongy. So now let's fill it up again. And this Bokashi spray, I'll spray some more stuff in there before I fill it up, just because to give it a bit of an extra boost. I don't think a whole lot has happened in there, but we probably won't see much with any of these processes in a week. And a lot of people cut everything up a lot. I couldn't be bothered doing that with my system, so I'm not doing it with these. I've cut them up as much as I could just to make sure I had the right weight for each container, or for each amount of different waste I put in there. I tried to make sure I had the same weight. It's impossible to get it absolutely perfect, but the end weight was 1 kg in that bucket. Let's get that off there. So let's give that a good spray. So I've really added quite a lot of spray to that. And I'm going to wipe this lid also before I put it back on, because I know there are some bugs in there, and I'm going to wipe around the edge of here, which is not something I have to do with my system. When you just add in your wastewater, you don't have to do any of this, but this still might give us a better result in the garden. We don't know yet. One of my customers says it's brilliant, so I'm going to see what results I get. Now I'm going to also remove those little fruit fly casings on the lid there. I probably have to glue that there to keep that fully sealed. So it's not a full seal, which is not ideal. It really needs to be sealed to keep those bugs out. You don't want to be producing bugs, and you certainly don't want them in your kitchen. Well, there's another one. And there's another one up there. Okay, alright. That's the best we can do there. Close her up. Now, Bokashi with the bran, and this is in the big container. This is the one I think is good. There's no bugs buzzing around this, so the seal is obviously nice. But would you bother with this in the kitchen? I don't think I would. It might be good as an extra bin outside the kitchen where you want to, say, collect it in small containers in the kitchen and then go and dump it in here every couple of days. Oh, that's hard to get off. But it does have that nice seal around it, and nothing has got in that I can see. This doesn't smell anywhere near as bad as that spray, and it's got the meat in there too. You can see some juices pooling down the bottom there. See there? But it's not bad. It doesn't smell that bad at all. Let's have a poke around and see what's happening. I think it's just like the other one. It's just breaking it down. All the juices are leaking out as it's starting to break down. But I've got to say, it doesn't smell anywhere near as bad as that other one. Now remembering, this has got meat in there too. So if you do it without meat, you're not going to get as bad a smell. So I've got this waste now going in. I'm just going to dump it all in. What would you do if you were home and you were cooking? You'd just be tossing it in as you go, and then you'd put the bran on, really. You wouldn't stop to put bran on every couple of layers. That would just drive me nuts. So here we go, half a cup of bran in. Now I'm going to, just lift some of the, it's a bit hard for you to see that. I'm just going to lift some of the waste up as I go so I get it spread around a bit. And really, if I want to cover that on the top and stop that smell, like that other one, so it's a cup and a half of bran on there. It's not fully covered, but it's not bad. Okay, back on the lid goes. That was with the Bokashi Bran. Now we're going to do with wastewater. And this, of course, is the way I collect my scraps. What's that? Let's see if I can get this lid off again. There is no easy way to get this lid off, I don't think. Such a shame, because I quite like this bucket. It's just a little bit big. Fruit. It's like those other big white buckets. You need a crowbar to get it off. So I don't think I'll be investing in any more of these. So let's have a look. Well, this one hardly smells at all. It smells a tiny little bit, but nowhere near like that Bokashi Spray does. And it's not as bad as the Bokashi Bran either. It's got an odour, but it's not that bad. So, and I do say to people, if you soak your scraps in water and they're covered in water, as a general rule, it won't smell for roughly 3 to 5 days, but it does depend on what you put in there. And I don't want that stuff to splash up in my face. If you had a smaller container, you wouldn't be piling this all in like this. You'd probably be just putting smaller bits in as you go. But I don't want that water to splash up at me, so just... Now again, I'm just going to add some water to this. Now, if I was doing this at home, I would be adding water as I get it. So sometimes I've got more water than scraps, but for this experiment I want to cover the water. I want to cover the scraps in water because that's how I think you should do it. And every couple of days you should have a full, if you're a big cooker, you should have a full container of waste and water. So that to me looks enough. I very rarely am that fanatical about it. I just do whatever. Sometimes there's more water than waste, sometimes there's more waste than water. But if your scraps are covered in water, as a general rule, they won't smell for 3 to 5 days. So that is the scraps with the water. Here we have now with nothing added, And this is one of those white buckets, which I think the lids are horrible to get off. You need a crowbar to get them off. So I've not placed this lid on tight, and I put plastic to cover it. Now it doesn't look like anything's got under that lid, which is good. And let's see if anything got under the plastic. It doesn't look like it from what I can see. Oh, there's a little bug there. So on the rim there, but not bad, not bad. Still, fiddly, do you want to be taking a bit of wet plastic off every time you fill your scraps up? I don't. Now, oddly enough, that doesn't smell yet. So it hasn't gone off yet. I mean, there's a little bit of odour, but it's hardly anything. So that's really interesting. Without water covering it, it still doesn't smell that bad. Yeah, no, all I can do is really smell a bit of the plastic, which is interesting. Okay, do I need to dig? Let's have a little dig around and see. Yep, everything's going fine. There's a bit of juice there, much like with the Bokashi Bran. You can't see the juice with the one with the water, of course, because it's all got all the water in there with it. So now we'll just add all this waste again. Again, the same 1 kilo of scraps. And these are big buckets, so you need quite a lot of waste to fill these up as well. So again, they're not bad as an additional bucket in your garage. Sometimes I get very frustrated with this video camera I've got because it cuts out and you don't know. I didn't have to do anything extra to this. There was no water added or anything like that. I've just put the plastic back on top. Now the difference was this little container. So this is my new one. I've been searching for 6 months for something like this online, and I only found it about a week ago. And this is similar to a container I bought, I think, in Kmart years ago. The lids are perfect for what I like. They come off nice and easily like that, see? Really easy to take off, throw your waste in, whoops, and then close it. You don't want something too hard or you won't do it. That's why I like this. The only drawback that some people like is that it's clear. But I like that. I can see what's going on. So this one, I've put the same amount of waste in here that I've done with all the pots this week. So there's 1 kilo of waste in there, and I'm doing the bran with this waste. And I probably put about a cup and a half of bran in there. And the night before I go and empty these, I'm going to put water in this one. So it will be different from the bran experiment because I won't be adding water to the bran, just to this one. So there's my 5 little pots. Thanks for watching.